Market leaders continue to break down, but there's one sector I'm bullish on. What we're seeing here happen across the board is we're seeing these leaders or big tech companies that, quote, are value names completely breaking down. And you can see this level right here, this 136.37. Well, we broke the pandemic low today on Meta, Facebook, whatever they wish to call themselves. The bottom line with it is when you start seeing this, when they're selling these companies that are, quote, value traps, it means institutions are getting out of the way. There's no other way to say it. One of the top 10 names that we were going to look for a flip was just a classic reversal today. Pops over, gets over that 126.11, lures everybody in only to break back down. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and click all notifications, especially now, because what we go over here is extremely timely and actionable for the week. Usually the next day or two, but definitely for the week. Now, if you watch the top 10 video, we actually had this in there as a possible buy, like, hey, maybe we're going to bounce off of this. We didn't pull the trigger on this today in the trading community. You can see how you flipped over here. I just didn't believe it from what I was seeing. A lot of what I was using today, and I'm going to suggest that people use this tool right now, it's going to save you an inordinate amount of money. So if you're using this tool and you can see, oh yeah, here's the open. Opens are usually poppy, right? They're always a little higher. But if you start seeing this during the day and you just see all this volume under this relative value, right? Because it's basically what it does is take relative volume of that specific time and date, and you're just lower. Do you really want to be buying a breakout when the volume's lower? You don't. Okay, so what you're witnessing are algo and high frequency trading games, and by utilizing something as simplistic as this, you can get in and out. We actually shorted this today, and the second time I actually stayed in it, but the second time I did quite well with it. But you're seeing a lot of this. You're seeing a lot of we're going to run you up, and then we're going to take out your stop, and then we're going to reverse. And if you're looking at this and trying to figure out what to do with it, this was very clear that we were going to reject. Why was this clear to me that we were going to reject? Look at my volume. My volume is nowhere to be found. There's nobody there buying. So I basically have algos and high frequency traders that are just simply triggering me to get me in. Then we break that 137 level. Now, if you look at Meta, where is support on it? I mean, we have to go back 2 years on this, and there's nothing around it. Let's take a look at this on the monthly. Reminder, you have monthly charts that are going to come up, right? So we're going to get the monthly charts very soon at the end of this month, actually end of the quarter. You have nothing to 123. There's literally nothing there. So when you start seeing these leaders crack like this is not mom and pop that are selling it. These are institutions. These are institutional darlings. This is a bear flag, and we're broken. I mean, there's no other way to say it. So I don't know what Powell's going to say in the 2 speeches he's giving this week. I think there's 16 other Fed speeches. That's sarcasm, but there is a lot of them this week. And you have PCE this week. You have GDP this week. So just keep that in mind. Can this get worse? Yes. Now you have a direction. And some of the key factors out there that I went through in the top 10 video, which I'll link at the end of this, allude to it and explain to you what's going to happen and what can happen this week. So there's no signs here, and stay to the end because I'm going to go through the indexes, but there's no signs of this abating, none. And you're seeing, this is what the point that I was trying to get at earlier, when people are going, I'm just going to hold on to this SOX. Now if you held on to it and you came in today, we covered this in the top 10, you opened down $3. Are you just going to hold it and pray? Or are you going to ride it up, right? So getting in and out of these names during when you have this kind of volatility is not the worst idea, right? You can get stopped out of something and just get right back into it. You don't have to get stopped out and stay out. You can find another way in. The market always gives you another chance, especially in environments like this. You should be seeing that a lot. Another one I want to just touch base on so you can get a feel for what's going on here. This is the kind of flim-flam that they're pulling out there. Okay. Here's your 50-day. This is one I had in the top 10. What did they do? They trigger you. They get you over, right? And then when they get you over, they just rug pull. And that's exactly what they did today. So this was one that I was watching when we were doing the live stream this morning in the trading community. And I really liked the idea because I thought, wow, if we could flip this we're going to be over the 50, we're going to be over the support line, we're going to look great. I just didn't see things that made me feel warm and fuzzy in the market. So we stayed away. If you were scalping, you could have done very well with it. Congratulations if you did do that. That's not what I was looking for. I was trying to stay up and in that trade, and I just didn't have what I needed on it in order to do that. And once again, you can just see the games. We're going to spike you off the open in the first 15 minutes, get you all giddy, and then we're just going to rug pull. And that's exactly what you're starting to see happen here. And now you're just getting these higher lows. And look, they're doing it all the time. We're going to flip the doji, right? We're going to flip the top of this wick. We're going to get you in, and then we're going to rug pull. And that's what they've been doing. So that's what's going on. And when you see this pattern over and over again, you want to pay attention to it. Now, for the sector that I went over that I said looks really good, it's the bear ETF funds that we went over in energy. And I'm going to go through 3 of them again today. But when you're seeing crude oil do this, understand you take the stairs up and you take the window down when it starts to break. If we're going to start talking about a global recession and you're starting to see the currency fluctuations that we're seeing out there in Great Britain, and you're seeing what's going on in Italy right now with their election, there's a lot of moving pieces. When you start to see this, this all slows down growth. Slow growth leads to demand destruction of oil. It's relatively simple. How much? I have no idea. And I don't know how this is being offset for what's going on with Russian sanctions, but here it is. So it's something that we're going to have to consider. It's something we're going to have to look at. So what does that mean? It means oil is going lower. It doesn't matter. You can rationalize it any way. You can listen to any podcast that's telling you that it's going to go to 140 and people don't understand. Okay, right now it's not. It can't even hold 80. Right? I mean, look at these levels that it's breaking and how fast it's breaking these levels. So can you get down to 66? Yeah, you can get down to 66 in a week. If you watch oil can have massive movement. It doesn't have to be a global financial crisis. It doesn't need to be anything along the lines of a pandemic. If you just take a look at what happened right here on the 14th, right, 2014, 15, look at these bars. I mean, 91 to 78, $12, $13 like nothing. Then again, $12, $13 like nothing. Then again, I mean, when oil comes in, it comes in. It does not take the stairs. It just takes the darn window. And you should be able to see that here. So when this happens, you want to make sure that you're on the right side of that trade. You do not want to be on the wrong side of this. It's becoming increasingly clear what the right side of that trade is. We went through 2 of these today, and this is the one that we did in the trading room, did quite well with it, acted great, gave us a trigger off the open, and also gave us confirmation later in the day that we're on the right track. You can see the W here. You can see that you're above the 50. This just looks like it's going to continue to push. I don't see any reason for oil to turn around. Now you have crude inventories at 10:30 on Wednesday. So that is definitely something. Reminder that you have Powell speaking tomorrow at 7:30. But you can see this very clearly right here, right? So it's very possible for us to get back to that level. It's not outrageous. So ERY is definitely one that should be on your list tomorrow. DRIP was another one we went over in the top 10. I'll link it at the back. It was up 7% today. What I really didn't like off the open with DRIP, and I saw this, and then I saw this also with this NRGD, which I really liked, but I did not like the action. Even though oil was going down, natural gas is plummeting, this NRGD actually came down. And what we're seeing is these kinds of moves where they're just selling down and they're not going in context with what the underlying market's doing. That's a problem. And that when you start seeing volatility like that, you really need to pay attention. For example, with what we saw happen today in the Qs, if you look at this on a daily, there's very little to say here that's redeeming. They flipped over, we got all giddy, right? And then they just rug pulled. So this is when we were rallying, that's when you short, right? Not down here. Just kind of keep that in mind. That's what we did today. You sell into the rallies. Now, if you take a look at where the market is and how this is playing out, this is all very, very clear. But if you go and take a look at this on a 1-minute time frame, just to get some perspective, okay, and you can look at this, these kinds of moves are not normal. This is not normal activity. It's not normal to just have constant rug pulls like you're seeing here, right? Where all of a sudden within 5 minutes, you're up 70 basis points on the NASDAQ. Okay. And that's what you're seeing. Roughly 10 minutes, you're up 80 basis points. End of the day, 5 minutes, what are you down? Okay. 80 basis points. This is not normal. And when you see this, you need to pay attention to it because it's telling you that there is an extremely volatile move that is coming and we just don't know when. And we've been seeing this telegraphed since the Fed meeting. If we take a look at the VIX, let me clean this all off. Well, let's just get rid of the text. So if we clean this all off, I do want to clean some of these off now so you can see these numbers because the numbers are important. And you just kind of look at these lines, right? And where these lines take us, right? So you can see like this median line. Let me show you this on a monthly so you can see that, right? So you can see that median, like where you're constantly popping over. So every really strong bottom happens over that 32.5. Usually you want a 4 handle. So just keep that in mind. Keep this on your radar. You want to watch this. What I'm going to suggest to you is that keep an eye on this. When you're starting to rise up like that and the market's coming down and the volatility is doing what it's doing, you have a 2-year that's rising. You have a 10-year that is at 388. Are you kidding me? So there's nothing redeeming about what we're seeing going on right now. Do I think that there is a big bounce out there? I do. I don't know when it is, but I do think it's out there. We're grossly oversold by any metric, but you have to see the bounce in order to act on the bounce. Until then, I'm going to just stick with the game plan that's been working for us. If you are interested in the trading room, it is open, the trading community with the newsletters and education, everything. There'll be a link in the top right here. Simply click on the link to join. It'll be open for 5 days. I am also doing a 30-minute onboarding and coaching session for the first 20 people that sign up for it. But it's only going to be open for 5 days, and then I'm closing it for an undisclosed period of time for everybody new to assimilate to it. Everybody, have a great day. Reminder, PAL tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. All right, have a great evening. Trade to win.